The 80s was the decade of consumerism. Making money, spending money, yuppies would flaunt their wealth in displays of blatant one-upmanship, right up Dell Street.
Derek Trotter was very much like the Peacock. He got body language, and he was young and fit, and he was symbolised all of those things.
And the 1989 Christmas special, Jolly Boys Outing, saw Dell embrace this new yuppie world.
I was that Dell yuppie at the time. I had a Burberry coat, I had a file of fax, I had a scarf. We just followed the trend, and there was no way that Dell wasn't going to fake it till he made it.
He had all the kit, so he had to have the coat and the file of fax and the mobile phone, and it makes you laugh at yourself. I did that. I had a file of fax, I had a mobile phone.
He wants to be a yuppie. We start to see the braces, he's got the file of fax. And then when he comes up against a real yuppie in Stephen, they don't see eye to eye.
Sleepy dawn rises to reveal Kilimanjaro in all its hypnotic majesty.
Oh, sounds great.
We're all going on a Beano to Margate next Saturday.
And that Beano to Margate gave us some of the most iconic Christmas moments ever in this much-loved festive favourite.
We were a team, and because of that, we had a wonderful, wonderful working relationship. We could not stop laughing.
Right, come on in, Denzel. Full ahead, both. We're off to Margate.
The Jolly Boys Outing is a much-loved episode. If you ask many people, they'd say it's their favourite because, you know, we all want to be there. We feel like we're there enjoying the day out with the gang.
You see the brothers get together with everyone, and they all go for this day trip to Margate and cause chaos, of course, as they always do.
Everyone was there. Boise. Trigger.
All right, Dave.
In a joyful 3-minute montage which required writer John Sullivan to rely heavily on the creative skills of the director.
Those actors, when they got together, in between takes, someone would crack a gag. They would never stop talking and laughing, and it was an absolute nightmare. But it wasn't, obviously. It was great fun. And David Jason, it was one of his favourite sequences of all the Fool's things. And he said, because we were allowed to do it.
But after all that fun in the sun, what followed was one of the most explosive and hilarious moments of Only Fools' Christmas history.
Del, smoke coming from the radio.
Well, you must have pressed the wrong button or something.
Well, that got one of the biggest jokes in it, again, that anybody had dared to do.
John and I used to meet up every so often. We call it script meeting, in which basically meant we'd talk about the script and have a few glasses of wine. So this particular occasion, John said, what we need to do is can we get a coach? Because I want to start a little fire.
Abandon shit. Come on, get off there. Come on then, everybody. Hurry up, look lively.
And I basically said at the end of the night, oh, come on, John, let's just blow the fucker up.
It's unfair to say that everything he touches goes wrong.
But that was how that happened. It was a drunken evening, essentially.
It wasn't a trick, because it was actually done. We were all standing there, and it just waiting for it to go, and it blew up. It was just a lovely, lovely moment.
Don't worry, Harry, I won't tell your governor about it.
The flames you see, the orange flames and glow that you see around us is actually very true. It came from the explosion. There's a charge that was in the back of the bus that didn't go off. So unfortunately, they had to do that again, which for us, is you're going to blow it right this time, because I ain't staying there and flying like that ever again.
The first time I saw it was on film, on the television sets, in the studio with the audience. And I'd heard them talk about it, and they'd all said, oh, you know, it's going to be a bit of a laugh as it blows up. And I thought, really? Well, the entire studio just sort of exploded, literally like the coach. And you just thought, oh, my God, they've done it.
Oh, the audience went to pieces on that because no one knew it was coming.
The audience loved it so much, they broke out into a round of applause. And, of course, the film was still running and the next lines were lost.
coach has just blown up.
So there was quite a lot of repair work to do on that to try to fit their laughter to the pictures.
It is one of the biggest sequences, I think, you know, that kind in a sitcom on British television. And they had over 20 million viewers at this point, which, oh my gosh, in this day and age, that's like the whole of England's just watching you.
I thought it worked really, really well. I think we're all very proud of that sequence.
It was brilliant. Everyone just... Yeah, it was breathtaking. And what better way to celebrate Christmas than to put it into a Christmas special?
The Jolly Boys outing, I suppose, will go down in history as one of the best episodes ever.
And this episode has gone down in history for another reason.
Jolly Boys outing was one of the classics. And I remember hearing about where... That was the first time I realised where bonnet de douche came from.
Bonnet de douche?
Bonnet de douche. He'd use that a lot. And he'd use it a lot when we were rehearsing for anything. He'd just go, oh, bonnet de douche, whenever.
There's just so many of them, and I just wish I knew where it got them from.
I went for a weekend with friends of mine to Paris. I was in my room and went to have a shower, and I saw this cap, and it said bonnet de douche. And I just could not understand what the hell did that mean. So I went and saw these friends of mine, and they said, it's a shower cap. I said, you are joking.
Bonnet de douche was one of many glorious examples of Del's misuse of the French language. And no Christmas special would be complete without it.
Oh, Bain-Marie. Bain-Marie?
Bain-Marie? What's that got to do with anything?
One of the most absurd ideas is that Del really is good at French.
What do you want, a sacre bleu chef or something?
Del desperately wants to be a great linguist because it will show his sophistication and his learning, and it will impress women. And he always very nearly gets it right.
Champs-Élysées.
You'd have to know your French to know quite how funny it is.
The one I really liked, when he just says, when he's telling people to hurry up, he just says, mange tout, mange tout.
Mange tout, mange tout. He thought that he was in command of the language. Chateauneuf de Pape. Of course, Del did not have a command of the language at all.
I think it was Rodney who said to one of you and your stupid French phrases which don't mean anything. What do you mean they don't mean anything?
And it's amazing how other people don't interfere and say, look, this is rubbish. And that just means it's a classic sort of perennial joke.
Fromage frais.
He just heard it, and he'd heard two words, and they'd put two words together.
But wait a minute. Oh, potpourri, potpourri!
I often wonder if he knew what any of it meant.
By Christmas 1991, the Only Fools and Horses series had finished, and Sir David and the team were only making Christmas specials. And this year saw two no-expense-spared adventures, which took the Trotters on their transatlantic travels to Miami.
In 1991, we get Miami twice. It's so big, they've had to split it into two. That's great for the BBC. It means they get the ratings on two separate nights, but also it means John Sullivan has more time to develop a story and to kind of bring more elements into it.
Yes, Del and Rodney were off to the super glamorous US of A. This was a far cry from Nelson Mandela House, and to add to the Hollywood feel, some famous Fools fans joined the fun.
Blimey, anybody think he owned the plane?
We get a little cameo from Richard Branson, not a born actor, perhaps. And then we get Barry Gibb.
You only saw the back of his head first when you saw Del Boy waving, and then you realised it actually is him. You went, oh my goodness, Barry Gibb was on Only Fools and Horses.
I need all this.
It's such an iconic moment.
He was great. He was a lovely fella.
Del and Rodney's trip to Miami just went to prove you could take the Trotters out of Peckham.
Going a long way out, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's enjoying himself.
But never Peckham out of the boys.
And there was David Jason on a jet ski, seeming to be doing about 80 miles per hour.
He can't even swim.
But I thought he said he had a certificate for swimming.
Oh, yeah, he has. But it ain't easy.
I could watch that scene over and over. It's the sheer terror.
Of course, Del and Rodders didn't get to enjoy the Miami high life. They end up in the muck, or rather the Everglades swamp, in a classic close encounter that could have spelled a snappy ending for the actors.
It was a real live alligator, right? And it was about 5 or 6 foot long.
Lots of people think, oh, there must be a protective screen between the two actors and this huge, great creature. But no, it was actually there next to them.
We're having a discussion about what the director wanted and how it was to be achieved, that we would be in the same shot as the alligator. He wanted the live alligator to creep in behind us and frighten the socks off us. I wasn't particularly concerned until I saw the alligator's minder had a huge pistol in his holster next to him. And he said, well, is it going to be safe to do this? He said, and he pulled the gun out of his holster and he said, yes, don't worry, sir. If there's such sign of it going wrong, I'll shoot the alligator, okay? I thought, oh, my God, this is going to be disaster.
Very slowly walk away, Del. We don't want to alarm it.
Alarm what?
That thing behind us.
All the time that is in the back of your mind when this thing out the corner of your eye is creeping towards us for the shot.
Nick says that they were so close they could actually hear it breathing.
Goodness knows what the insurance companies must have thought about that. Heaven only knows.
Coming up.
There must be something wrong. I couldn't stop laughing because it was so funny.
I'm not getting out dressed like this.
We see how the team struggled to keep their most famous Christmas moment under wraps for the big day.
The press would arrive in droves trying to film what you were filming.